a football podcast for football fans by football guys. Welcome to the End Zone Experts.
Welcome back to the End Zone Experts. This is the show where we're going to dive deep into the world of Dynasty fantasy football to help you build a championship roster, or at least avoid the group chat roasting. I am your host, Chris Knowles, and today we're talking about a gold mine for savvy Dynasty managers. We are talking about forgotten running backs. These are going to be some really deep hidden gems. Those guys that's kind of slipped through the cracks, buried on the depth charts, or just haven't gotten the hype that maybe they deserve. As of March 16th, 2025, the Dynasty landscape is starting to shift now with the draft coming up, and I've got 3 names you might want to stash or at least keep your eye on before your league mates catch on. Let's get right into it with number 1. We're talking about a running back that is really kind of flying under the radar right now, but has a lot of potential. We're talking about Kendre Miller of the New Orleans Saints. He was drafted in the 3rd round of the 2023 NFL Draft out of TCU. Miller was once viewed as a promising prospect with a versatile skill set, including good size. He's 5'11", 220. Bursts, great receiving ability. However, his career has been hampered by injuries, limiting him to just 15 games over his first 2 seasons in 2023 and 2024, with only 51 carries for 240 yards and 1 touchdown, plus 13 receptions for 126 yards. Miller's forgotten status stems from a combination of factors, really. Persistent injury concerns, notably his hamstring and ankle issues, and really a crowded Saints backfield featuring Alvin Kamara. I know last season Jamal Williams was there as well, kind of eating into his opportunities, with Kamara still commanding the lion's share of touches, and the Saints' offensive struggles with consistency. Miller has faded from the spotlight in Dynasty circles. His current Dynasty ADP, that is average draft position, tends to place him outside the top 50 running backs, often undrafted or stashed on deep benches. That said, there's still a case for Miller as a sleeper. Miller is just 22 years old. He'll be turning 23 on June 2025. He's younger than many of the 2023 draft classmates who have already broken out. Kamara is entering his age 30 season in 2025, and we may see his workload reduced, or who knows what could happen. Maybe if the Saints pick up where they left off last season, he could be traded. I'm not speculating that. I'm just saying we don't know what we're going to have with Kellen Moore just yet. If that does happen, that'll open up a huge door for Miller to kind of step in a larger role. If he can stay healthy, that's a big if. His physical tools and draft capital suggest he could still develop into a valuable asset. For Dynasty managers with roster spaces, he's really a low-cost stash who might be overlooked due to his lack of production thus far, making him a classic forgotten running back with upside who really is worth monitoring as the 2025 season approaches. I definitely do like Kendre Miller. I really like what the Saints have underneath the elder players there. I really do like Kendre Miller with Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave. I think Spencer Rattler has some potential. The Saints have a few pieces there that really are interesting. to say the least. I, I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but if the Saints start out 0-4 or 0-5, I could see Alvin Kamara being potentially traded to another team, and thus opening up the door for Kendre Miller. So he's definitely somebody I would want to keep stashed on my bench, or if you have practice squad spots on your or in your league, I would definitely want to keep him there. He's somebody I'm definitely eyeing. Another running back, we're going to go into running back number 2, is none other than the Cleveland Browns backup running back now, Jerome Ford. Has largely been overshadowing Cleveland's backfield since Nick Chubb's return from injury, coupled with the Browns' offensive struggles and uncertainty at quarterback. Ford was a 2022 fifth-round pick out of Cincinnati. Showed flashes as a potential in 2023 when he stepped up during Chubb's absence. He was posting 813 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, plus 44 receptions for 319 yards and five touchdowns. He's kind of a dual threat back. However, in 2024, his role diminished significantly with his carries dropping as Chubb's he came back and he reclaimed the lead role. And the offense leaned heavily on short yardage work. As of now, Ford's Dynasty ADP often places him outside the top 40 running backs, and he's really rarely discussed in trade talks or start-sit conversations. He's just 25 years old. He'll be turning 26 in September 2025. Ford is still young enough to have upside, especially if Chubb, who will be 30 in December of 2025 and coming off multiple serious injuries, sees his workload reduced or leaves Cleveland after his contract expires in 2025. Ford's receiving skills as well, and decent. He has a decent burst. He ran a 4.46 on the 40-yard dash. He's making him a really like a sneaky stash for patient dynasty managers, particularly in PPR leagues, where his pass catching ability could really shine in a larger role. He's really kind of forgotten about now, but a shift in the Browns' backfield dynamic could, resurrect his value. Another interesting fact about the Browns is you really need to. We're going to figure out what they're going to do at quarterback. I think that has hindered a little bit with the running back position. With Deshaun Watson injured, I've heard reports that the Browns could potentially sign Russell Wilson. I'm not sure how that's all going to shake out. Or obviously, they have a number 2 pick overall. They could draft a quarterback. Cleveland is another team that just 2 years ago they were in the playoffs. Jerome Ford is a guy that I do own a little bit of stock in some of my dynasty leagues. I do like Ford. I put him, in my opinion, right now, at best, he could be like a RB3/flex, but I really would like to see him with a good quarterback, and I know that's hard to say, good quarterback and Cleveland Browns all in the same sentence, but I think Jerome Ford is somebody you definitely want to put on your practice squad or on your later round benches. And then we're going to move on to running back number 3, none other than Tyler Algier out of the Atlanta Falcons. He is the running back 2. Algiers burst onto the scene as a rookie in 2022, rushing for 1,035 yards and earning a reputation as a bruising downhill runner out of BYU. However, the arrival of Bijan Robinson in 2023 and the Falcons' commitment to him as their RB1 has pushed Algiers into a secondary role. In 2024, Algier remained efficient, averaging over 5 yards per carry, but his touches really dropped to around 100 carries for the season. With minimal involvement in the passing games, only 15 to 20 receptions projected. this has really led him to being an afterthought in dynasty circles as well. Often ranked outside the top 35 running backs and treated as a handcuff rather than a standalone asset. At 24 years old, turning 25 in April of 2025, Algier still has youth on his side, and his 5'11", 220-pound frame suggests durability for a power back role. Obviously, Bijan's presence caps his ceiling in Atlanta, but Algier's rookie production hints at untapped potential. If he were to land on a new team via trade or free agency after his rookie deal ends in 2026, or if Robinson misses time, Algiers really could reemerge as a low-end RB2 or a flex option. For now, his lack of current buzz makes him a forgotten name, worth stashing or buying low in dynasty leagues with deep benches. Both Ford and Algiers are currently undervalued due to their situations, but their youth, skill sets, and potential for opportunity really shifts, making them intriguing options for dynasty managers looking for forgotten talent, really. These really are three running backs that are, in my opinion, great bench depth pieces. I know some would call quote unquote handcuffs, which really they are, but there is a lot of potential in those three running backs, and those three are just a few that I would definitely hurry up and grab this season. I'm not going to say that they're going to make an immediate impact, obviously, because of what they're dealing with in front of them. But they are three running backs that are a little bit more on the deeper side, taking a deep dive into Dynasty, which I really enjoy doing. You need to always prepare your team and set your team up for future success. So really, there you have it. Kendre Miller, Jerome Ford, and Tyler Algiers. They're three running backs who have been shoved to the back of the dynasty closet, but with the right situation, they could dust off and really shine. Stash them, trade for them cheap, or just watch them as we roll into the 2025 season. But I really want to know what you guys think. Gotten any forgotten running backs on your radar? Please hit me up on X or in the comments, and let's catch this conversation up and let's keep it going. Until next time, let's keep those rosters churning, and I'll catch you on the flip side. This has been the End Zone Experts. Thank you guys so much.